Do celestials and humans need to be kept separate? Is the prophecy real? And I agree. A gingham pocket square can be quite aggressive. The man with the golden gun must be Scaramanga, the man with 3 nipples. That's my first thought, too. We are talking Netflix's Lucifer Season 4, Episode 7. Devil is as devil does. The Afterbuzz After Show starts right now.
You're tuned in to Afterbuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
We like to hit the table, Roxy. Table hitting is one of our favorite things to do. We play
but I
cigarette
hear
drums.
it when I listen back to the shows. It's like, and I'm sure Steve in the booth loves it.
Yeah, those drums, man. You are a rock star.
Let me tee you up, Tehran.
Thank you, buddy.
And it's you.
No, and it's you, Stephen Lemieux.
I didn't get a tee up. Okay, I'm Stephen Lemieux.
Did you want to? Did you? Was I supposed to?
Hit it.
See, that's what that's for.
Okay, fine. We're not as good as the sound effect, Roxy.
I actually thought you were better.
Thank you.
And if you don't know who you is, it's Stephen Lemieux.
And
all
then,
the way in the panel.
I don't know who I'm sitting next to.
We should all know. It's Roxy Striar.
What's she
the
queen
of
this
what
week?
is better.
Yeah. I'm the queen of everything.
Yeah, you are.
You're the queen of being disagreed with.
I guess. There is a wallet that I really want. It's a few $100 though, so I haven't gotten it yet, but it says Queen of effing everything, and I want it so bad. But then when I showed my brother, because he asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and he was like, I feel like that means you're the queen of having sex with everything, and I'm
of effing everything, literally effing
banging
everything.
And he's like, I'm not getting that.
Well, coming off last episode's orgy scene, that might not be too far fetched.
Remiel would not like you, Rox, after that.
Well, I don't like Remy either. Okay.
Well, Remiel wouldn't like me either because I'm kind of mixed too. And who am I? I'm Tehran. I will be hosting this panel as we are talking Netflix's Lucifer Season 4, Episode 7. Devil is as devil does. I keep trying to say that in a Forrest Gump voice, but it's not.
Devil is as devil does.
Thank you, Stephen. Today's breakdown includes the case, and of course, the heart of the case, which we get into each and every week. Chloe and Eve at the same damn time. Is Chloe or Eve the bad influence? Ella's new revelation. Auntie May's. Dan plays detective and a little bit more. Amenadiel and Remy have a brother and sister fight, and this time it's an actual fight. Trixie interrogates Eve. Danella. Yeah, I'm shipping that. The prophecy, Roxy shipped it first, yes. The prophecy, angel or devil, Lucifer has his wings. But are they the wings that we expect? News and gossip, special segment, Circles of Hell. Quick predictions and more. Let's begin with overall thoughts on this Netflix's Lucifer Episode 7, Season 4, Devil is as devil does. Stephen.
Lucifer got the wings he needed, not the ones he deserved.
Is that finally the Batman? I always try to say the Batman quote, and I'm off it.
The Batman quote is, he's the hero we need, not the hero we deserve.
Okay, because I do that in everything, and I'm always off.
Lucifer got the wings he needed, not the ones he deserved. And I'll expand on that throughout the episode.
I would love to hear that because I think he got the wings that he deserved and not the one he's needing.
I agree with that.
Roxy.
I agree with you, Tehran. I love being right, and I made a prediction a few episodes ago out of left field, and the fact that it came true this episode, I don't care about anything
Which prediction
else.
is that?
Danella.
Ugh.
I
hate it.
Out of nowhere. We were all saying days.
You guys looked at and said, "What? What are you talking about?" And I was like,
So it has the three basic... Oh, sorry.
I'm just going to let you guys know, people are out there, they're going to accuse me of cheating because everything dropped at once.
You
But
didn't cheat.
I promise, I have been watching this show along with our after shows. I had no idea. I am queen of effing everything.
I will attest to that, and I'll tell you why. Because I got an Instagram in the middle of my life where... Have you watched the new Lucifer? I was like, I'm about to. Okay, just remember, I'm right, and I'm more right than you, and I'm more right. And that was it.
All it takes is a complete lack of belief in God and fingers touching like that.
Yeah, that's
And bam,
actually
that's,
exactly what it
That's how
takes.
relationships start.
When
The best
you
ones.
are an atheist, sex feels better. Think about that.
The more you know.
The more you know. My overall thought on this
No one's
episode
watching you.
was that I love where we're going.
It feels better when somebody is watching you.
No one's watching you.
I'm a bit of a voyeur.
Do what you want.
I
You
wanna
just
make
like
sure-
to watch.
I just like to watch. I would love to be omnipotent.
I
Just to
feel
watch
way
all
more
things.
uncomfortable on this side of the table after this whole conversation.
But like I was saying, I really liked this episode. It was fun. It was good. But more importantly, it's getting to this heart, this meat, the story arc that I was talking about. And it even brought back Father Kinsey a little.
Yeah,
we
it
got
did.
a tad, but it was a great
In a great
feature.
way. I
Yeah,
thought his scene
freaky.
was fire.
Oh my gosh, that scene, how it was cutting back and forth, and the ending scene. The ending scene was just so powerfully done. This is why we love Lucifer.
Because you're just sitting there, and the whole series, I'm trying to get ahead of what's actually going to happen. Like, what is he going to say? What is the big surprise? What's the big reveal? What is the... And every time I think I know, I don't know, except for the fact that I know everything.
That's
don't know
true.
anything.
Effing everything.
I know effing everything.
We forgot to mention one thing last episode, and that's Rookie Joan. And Rookie Joan is the catalyst for Lucifer's delving into actually being back to his old self. You guys
so?
remember Rookie Joan? The guy, the female cop that died
Oh,
because
of
of
course.
Lucifer
The
deciding
cop,
to
yes.
hold himself back.
The cop that it keeps coming up.
Set this all into motion. As soon as they gave her a
Yes.
name, I was like, oh, she's not living through this episode.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, that was it's interesting because I think they used that plot device very well to catapult him into the place he needed to be, but at the same time it was like, who?
Yeah, I
And
know.
as you just said her name, I was like,
Mike Jones, who?
I
Yeah.
like how it was silent when I said the character's name.
Yeah,
It was
because
pretty
the
good.
I didn't
I
know if
just
you were
knew
doing
the-
the Steven thing where you were making up a nickname for somebody,
No,
and I
no,
was like, are we
like-
calling Dan Rugged Jones now?
straight up Rookie Jones.
Rookie Jones. Well, let's talk about the case this week. This week's case actually piggybacks off last week's case. It's Sam Zeffirelli, who is basically the person who is being accused of inflicting the pain that Lucifer caused, and that was the whole thing. Lucifer is upset because someone innocent is being punished for his deed.
There are so many
So
douches on this show now.
So many. Oh my God, this episode.
It's not, and I'm not talking about the kind of nickname that we give Dan, where
this is
it's a
just
joke.
in general, yeah,
This is-
because we had
yeah.
Julian McCaffrey last time, and now we
Julian.
have his father, Jacob Tiernan,
Who's even worse?
who's a lot worse. Actually, the only person who wasn't that much of a douche was kind of Ponyboy, the assassin.
yeah, stay golden, you know?
Yeah, Ponyboy, who the assassin who doesn't turn on Dan.
Where did I know this guy from so clearly?
Who, Ponyboy?
Jared Burns.
Yeah, but where?
He's so good in what I know him
I'm
from.
dying up here. No, I'm thinking of him in one specific role when he came on
Justified.
screen.
I know him from Justified.
Nope. Burn Notice.
Oh, Burn Notice. He was Anson.
Breaking Bad. He was the group leader. He's been in everything. You don't know who we're talking about, Tehran?
The effing everything?
No, the dad.
The dad. Yeah, the dad is in everything.
He's the main villain in the latter seasons of Burn Notice as well. He's so good. This
He
show
was in the OG Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so now you can be involved in the
Yeah,
conversation.
no, he's just
There
in
you
a
go.
lot of things. I've seen him in throughout.
Yeah, I mean, when you're somebody who has as many credits as he does, 103 acting credits, we all recognize him from one place or another.
Yeah, that's a
Oh, and he's
working
from
actor.
Cambridge, Massachusetts. I like Massachusetts.
And I like Cambridge.
This is
Maybe
IMDb,
he's
the
smart.
podcast.
Yeah. So here
No,
we
I
have.
am DB.
You are DB.
Thank you.
You'd have. Not gonna finish.
The
Best.
case
The
was
best.
There you go.
the case was Sam Zeffirelli, cause of death, shot, then thrown over a bridge and pistol whipped, and had his finger broken, and
Everyone in his body was broken.
everybody a bone, and he was hurt the same way Julian was hurt. So we thought Julian was dead. It seemed like Julian was dead. Julian is still alive.
Could have fooled me. Jesus.
No, Lucifer.
Yeah, Lucifer.
I didn't think he was dead.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't say
Roxy
that last
shipped
episode.
Danella.
I didn't say that I thought he was dead. I didn't say it either
I thought
way.
he was dead.
I thought he was dead.
The reason
the
I-
noises. Yeah. Yeah, when you get stepped on the throat. I mean, it's Lucifer strength. I don't know.
I know, but I just think that we would have made a bigger deal of it.
They kind of ended with it, and
Yeah.
it seemed like a big deal. I was pretty sure he was
Alright.
dead.
Well, I was right.
He came off dead.
You're right
and
again, Roxy.
Hindsight is 20/20. So, but I liked that he wasn't dead at least because I liked watching this fear and Dan be able to put together the pieces because Chloe does have a blind spot when it comes to
100%.
Lucifer, and the fact that Dan is able to be like, yo, open your eyes. This is him. And he knows from the signs. I forget sometimes that Dan's actually halfway decent at his job. So I liked to be reminded of that. And I thought that this was a more interesting choice than having him just be dead.
It sucks because in the same episode that I'm like, damn, Dan is actually good at his job, I'm also like, damn, Dan is such a douche.
He is such a douche.
Such a douche.
I don't like how mean he's become. There used to be a charm to him. There used to be a charm where Dan came off as a sweet person who was a dickhead. Now he's just a dickhead.
100% season 2 and 3 Dan, I would have banged. Season 4 Dan, I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole.
You're not Ella.
No, I am not Ella, hey.
Ella, who, by the way, from last episode, definitely I was like, okay, Ella.
Hey.
I mean, we got to see all the butts, as you put it, Roxy.
Yeah.
And this time, Dan gets to see that butt.
And we got, I always think it's really sexy when a woman's got the long hair in front of her boobs, and Ella was rocking that too. There was no other point to make other than that.
Yeah, it was. That's all we need to see.
I'm so worried for her character now, though, because it has to come out that he was the one who served up Lucifer on a golden platter to Tiernan, and she's...
But how's that gonna come out?
Because Tiernan's still alive.
Ponyboy knew, and Ponyboy didn't say anything, and Dan was worried, and Ponyboy kind of saved him.
Because Ponyboy's going to use that against him for sure. He's going to blackmail him in some way.
Dan's going to be under a thumb, and unfortunately, I think Ella is going to get
And also, listen, without knowing it, and I like that sense of karma, Dan put Trixie in harm's way because, first of all, he went in and said in the Catalyst, like, hey, my personal vendetta against Lucifer means more than justice and more than my job and more than anything else because I just want to get this guy.
But you don't know the implication that has. Yes. And I wrote in my notes, I said, Trixie almost died because Dan is hot garbage. Like, this is what he has become.
It is.
It was so wrong what he did, but he thought, okay, this is wrong, and it ends here. And you don't know when you take revenge on somebody how far that will actually go. And if Trixie, I think it would have been too dark even for Netflix, but had Trixie actually died in this situation...
For a second, I thought that was going to happen, by the way. I thought it was going to be... Because, honestly... Once again, this is Netflix, and since they have been underutilizing Trixie's death could have been a huge story plot. For example, Maze would have went crazy. Dan would have went insane with guilt. Chloe would have found out.
And
it would have
most importantly, Lucifer probably would have gone back to the
you guys went that way.
Bad side.
I did. I went the other
way. I went the other way because I was worried that Trixie was going to kill somebody.
Oh, wow.
I was worried that they created that breadcrumb with Trixie getting the knife from Maze and having that knife with her. I was afraid that something would have put Trixie in a position to have to kill somebody to, in her mind, save Lucifer or save Eve, and that would have created a really interesting moving forward.
May I say something, please? You are the darkest person on this panel. The fact that
I watch
it
Happy.
Didn't even cross our minds that Trixie would kill someone. But Steven's like, I went the other way. Trixie has the knife. Wow.
I do see what you're saying though. Because,
no, it would have been great. That's actually
would have
even
created
better.
Conflict with a lot of the characters.
100%.
Maze would have had a really bad time with Chloe moving forward, and Dan would have had a hard time kind of accepting that his daughter was now the person put through this.
Because of him.
Because of him, yeah.
Oh, Dan is my now arch nemesis.
The worst thing is this would have been forgivable had Dan known that he was Satan. And that's why it's forgivable with Chloe, is because her actions were based on the predication that she knows he's Satan. He doesn't even know he's Satan.
He just thinks he's a guy who he's kind of annoyed by, jealous of a little. Everyone's kind of he's a hater. Dan's being a hater.
That's not totally true
and
though.
Charlotte.
It's not just somebody he's annoyed by. It's somebody he knows is going around breaking legs, breaking jaws.
No.
Yeah, but
let's not act like Dan is innocent of that. I remember a whole group of Los exes who have broken everything because of Dan deciding to break the law.
I am not saying he is innocent. I'm just saying it's not that he's annoyed. He's annoyed that he's stepping out of the system and he's doing it better than he is.
Okay.
That's a hater.
Because Dan with Maze is doing the exact same thing Lucifer's doing. So it's 100%. The most hypocritical bull crap that he could be pulling right now.
Ivan Soto says, Stephen, Roxy, do you not remember season 1 Dan?
Yes.
He was a D-bag in season 1. He probably only called this out because you reminded us of that. But yes, I do, which is exactly why I told you. Season 2, 3 Dan I would bone. I didn't say anything about season 1 Dan, just clarifying again. Because I don't want to be made out to look like somebody who wants season 1 Dan.
And anyone who didn't watch season 1 who jumps in on Netflix, the 2-minute preview introduces him as Detective Douche. So I guess people should have this expectation with this character.
Do you think there are a lot of those people?
I think so. I think
Yes.
I think enough people have been saying
walked in on
positive
season 4?
things.
Who started season 4 on Netflix?
Oh, I thought you meant in life.
I think
No.
I think enough people would watch the first episode of season 4 and be interested enough to backtrack. Because Netflix, you look at Netflix, you see this devil face thing and it says Lucifer. You're like, I'd click on it. Like you're browsing Netflix.
And it's not that far in. It's four seasons in. I think a
Nothing.
lot
That's
of people
nothing
have been, and Lucifer's been on Netflix. A lot of people actually did watch it.
Do you guys think that if Dan knew Lucifer was the devil, that he would like him less or more?
I think he might understand him more.
I think
Does not understand him.
I think he would leave immediately. I think
Leave what?
I think he would take Trixie and go as far away from that precinct as possible, and I think he would cut ties with Chloe if she didn't go with him.
Great reminder from the chat. Hail Crimson King says he is also still blaming Lucifer for the death of Charlotte.
Yes,
is
he's
true.
blaming Lucifer for the death of Charlotte, not understanding fully. I think that if Dan knew that all of this was celestial in nature, that would change his perspective the same way that I need Ella to find out as well, because we see her constantly being lost.
What did you think of that scene with, since we're talking about Ella and Chloe? That scene where she says that she doesn't believe in anything and she's trying to prove that God and the devil are just bullcrap anyway. Chloe, of course, gets her
Why
epiphany.
not do whatever makes you happy? That is what she says.
I felt like it's not Chloe's place to tell Ella, so I know why she doesn't. But Chloe is being pretty selfish in that moment by just trying to get information out of Ella and not looking at the fact that her friend is really struggling. And if Chloe was in her right state of mind and wasn't trying to focus so much on herself and what's going on with Lucifer, anybody who sees Ella right now, Dan noticed, anyone who sees Ella knows that she's not okay right now.
Dan
Rookie Joan
noticed-
affected her.
Because Dan is also lost.
In Bone
Two
Town.
lost souls
Meet in
found
Bone
each other,
Town.
and it's easier just to have sex than to speak,
In
which is
Bone
why they
Town.
both say they don't.
They don't want to talk about
They
it.
don't want to talk about it.
They just want to rub bodies on it.
In
It's a way
Bone
people.
Town?
Thank you.
Can you stop? Well, people actually, that's one of the rules when you go to any type of rehab or things like that, because you're both in vulnerable states and feel this quote unquote lost. People find themselves in intimate situations, and it's actually one of the rules. One of the rules is against that because it's not real, and so I don't think that this is real.
Well, it's not even just that's not one of the rules. Just because it's not real, it's because it is another way to kill pain, and you're supposed to be feeling that pain and taking that in and making sure that you acknowledge what's happening and then finding proper coping mechanisms that are not sex, drugs, rock and roll to get through that. So I think that it's a really good comparison, Tehran, because right now this is Ella's moment. This is her make or break. And if she decides to fill this void with drugs, which we've been seeing, with booze, with sex with Dan, or with anything like that, she's not going to actually get to the root of the problem, which is her accepting that God doesn't exist or finding faith again. Because either one is fine. If she truly accepts he does not exist and she decides that that's okay and she has her own free will and she wants to move forward as an agnostic or an atheist, she will be able to figure that out. And if she wants to believe in God again and she wants to find God again, she should go down that path. But it's this middle path of anger that he doesn't exist that she really needs
Out
to
of
work
spite.
on.
And we
Yeah.
see that with the chain being in the drawer, and she has kept the chain, so she hasn't thrown it away.
But before we jump off of that, because that's also a good point, she's a direct comparison to Lucifer as well in this moment, because she doesn't know which path to take. She's remaining down the middle, and it's tearing her apart in that way because all of her beliefs have been adjusted. And Dan is the same way. She's diving into sex as a way to communicate, to try to work through problems, just as Lucifer has been for the past 3 months. So it's kind of an interesting humanistic dynamic they've kind of drawn a comparison between
That's
the two of them
right.
with.
It is tearing up my heart when I'm with you.
And when we
Honorable-
are apart,
Honorable mention.
Bone Town.
Bone Town, which is actually a place in hell Lucifer mentioned. No, I'm just kidding. Honorable
It is.
mention, the mug. The coffee mug that
The
she
coffee
had.
mug is such a Tehran mug
Amazing.
to own, by the way.
You need to have
I
that mug.
need
What do you
that
mean
mug.
honorable mention?
Because there was the pictures everywhere. It was just great. I mean,
was
it
a
doesn't
picture
get
of
its
her
own.
and
It
then-
doesn't get its own topic because it is blank. But it was a picture of her on each side of even on the bottom.
Why not?
She's making it that nobody can ever put the words Ella and ugly mug in the same sentence.
So good.
You know,
It
she was already
so
doing
good.
pretty well, but now.
Chloe
she
and
did.
Eve are in the same damn place at the same damn time. Is
Eve's
that
extra.
a good idea?
Eve's so extra.
Don't
this
talk
episode.
about Eve. Do not speak about Eve
I
in
do
any
love her,
negative way.
too.
She's amazing.
Muscle Beach.
I think that for the purposes of this show, we are allowed to put ourselves in situations that are unrealistic. But like, if
What's unrealistic about this? You bring your ex.
if I'm
your next-
Chloe,
I do that all the time.
I'm just like legit putting my foot down hard and saying no. And she's not doing that with him. And I don't know whether that's because it makes for better TV or because they're trying to show us about her character that she really is trying to do everything she can to make him happy and she believes this will be what makes him happy.
I think it's the latter. I think it's the latter.
Or a combination.
A combination of both. But I'm going with latter. I often forget that this is TV. This is so good.
They did everything in their power to write Eve to make her look out of place at every crime scene.
Oh
and
my
everything.
gosh, it was
the
so
heels
good.
stepping. There's like a dead body on the ground. She's like the heels, like I'm excited. And you're like, what the hell's going on? They
Can't
have
wait to punish 'em. I
Muscle
mean,
Beach
justice.
jumps up. They're like straddling each other, making out.
I said? Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, but I have to disagree with you.
Of course. Thank you. That would be out of character if you did not.
It would be very out of character.
It would be out of
I'd
character.
need to find my
character.
true nature is disagreeing with Roxy.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
I'm glad you are, because all of you at home have seen them disagree often. You can see them disagree even more if you keep and continue to watch us on AfterBuzz. Here at AfterBuzz, we talk about all of your favorite TV programs, from drama to comedy to sci-fi and more. We have programs for each and every one of you, and all of you at home are as much, if not more so, a bigger part of this panel than all of us. You are part of the AfterBuzz community, and as such, we ask you to do one little thing. We ask you to please share, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends, spread the word. Let's grow this AfterBuzz community of ours and talk about these shows with more and more people and get more and more perspectives on each and every one. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, it's so easy. Just give us that 5-star rating that we so greatly deserve. And comment. Those comments boost us to the top of that iTunes page. And we love to be there with all of you. Once again, as always, we thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk.
And hit that thumbs up. We got a big live viewership right now. And only 3 likes right now.
Only 3 likes.
Only 3 likes.
What?
That's like only my thumbs.
I'm not taking any of you to Bone Town.
Okay, I'm about to like
Not
right
touching
now.
that with any poll.
Liking that right now. So we get a combination of conversations.
Oh,
Chloe,
like sex.
No.
we're done with that. We're done with that late revelation.
No.
We're done with that.
I thought this whole show's about a late revelations.
That's actually where it gets to. The revelation of, is Chloe the bad influence or Eve the bad influence? Each one brings up the other.
I
Yo.
love this freaking super meta status of the devil himself having the devil and angel on his shoulder.
And
Yes.
literally the way that they shoot this, where one is on one side, one is on the other, we're seeing their heads. It was so brilliant. I think 1000% Eve is the devil.
One's wearing red, one's wearing white. There was a whole.
Chloe is clearly the angel.
And they
Sure.
say the same thing about each other. Like, I don't think she's a good influence on you.
Yes.
They both say the same thing.
Yeah, and I bet they both really believe that. But we know from watching on the outside, Chloe is a good influence and Eve is not. I mean, are we all on the same page there or no?
It depends.
Depends on.
It depends on your perspective.
the
because
perspective. Thank you, Steve.
if you're gonna look at Lucifer, and if you're gonna say that his true nature is the devil, there's nothing evil about somebody saying you need to be who you are. You should be able to be who you are and not act like something different. So in that aspect, it is an angel. But from a human perspective, hey, if being who you are is a murderer and, you know, the killer of all things and the torturer of all souls, maybe that's a bad thing.
But Steven, that's hot. Like, that is what I picture Eve just thinking this whole time. Like, what makes him so sexy? How do I just, like, what do I do?
She says
He's
that
so
kind of
hot.
in many different ways. And
When's he
another
getting
thing
his
that's brought up
horns?
Yeah.
is the fact that
could use that.
Lucifer brings up to Chloe, well, you didn't accept me for my true self. He brings it up again. So we've seen
He's
this
not
come up.
wrong.
And he's not wrong. Chloe did look away. Now, granted, he is the devil. I would love to remind everyone of that often, but he is the devil. So, who's the better influence, or are both bad influences on Lucifer?
I think they're both bad influences.
I loved the theory that Trixie's the good influence. Now, I didn't love what happened with Dan's storyline, but I think that Trixie is the right influence right now. I don't think he needs to be influenced per se as much as listened to, talked to, like what's going on.
You know who does that? Dr. Linda.
No, she doesn't. She
No, 'cause
doesn't
she
do
tries
that
to
at all.
influence him.
She tries to influence. He just needs somebody who's not judging, who doesn't have an opinion one way or the other necessarily, because he's got to figure this out himself. And as we're watching in this episode, he's not spending the time. I mean, not to get too mushy, but when you're lost, the only person who can find you is you. So he's not giving himself the time to do that because he's arm deep in an orgy 50% of the time, and when he's not, he's arm deep in work.
Stop saying arm deep.
I actually need you to say arm deep more.
I love
Arm
the.
deep
Do
in
you have a
Bonetown.
pet? Do you have a pet who holds up the leash?
I'm loving though. It's funny in the chat because Rosalind is on one team. Rosalind is Team Chloe, and the Queen of Regal is Team Eve. And I've been seeing this online as well, where it seems like people are kind of split. And I think for this show to introduce somebody in season 4 who is so awesome of a character that people actually might not want Lucifer to end up with Chloe is mind blowing, because this is the Ross and Rachel of the show.
I just had a thought though.
Bars.
We don't know that Eve's backstory on why she left heaven is true. We could still get Adam in this season. It could have just been a fight that they were having that made her leave, and she's lying to Lucifer about her intentions of going there. This might just be him being a rebound.
Well, then we are on episode 7. I don't know about this season, but in the future, and I agree, she definitely could be lying about things. And I talked about this episode 3 or whenever she was introduced. She could be communicating with God. This could be a plan that they've had that Lucifer is unaware of, to try to get Lucifer back to
Being, because I guess
back to hell.
in season 1 it was he wanted to be as subtle as possible because he didn't want to draw attention to the fact that he's there. Subtle in the terms of not go around killing people, not subtle in the terms of, hey, I'm a rich millionaire with the club. But maybe there is going to be some kind of unhideable power of him being Satan if he continues to kill people.
I like the concept. I don't think she's in contact with God, but maybe Remiel or the other angels.
You don't
who
think she's worthy?
Are the voice of God. I think maybe she lost a little bit of favor with God, a little for introducing sin, original sin to man. I think that's a kind of a, if God's not going to talk to you for a reason.
God had the bouncers take her out of the club at that point.
At that point, we did have this concept of Trixie and Eve and Dan forcing an issue. How did you like the karma play?
I thought it was brilliant. I thought this was one of the best written parts of the episode, if not the season, because he deserved this. And no, I'm not saying Trixie deserved this, but Dan deserved to see the backlash of him stepping out of line. And I thought this was a great way to do it.
It's disappointing to me because I thought we were kind of past him being Dirty Dan to this level, but obviously not.
And he set someone else to do his dirty work.
Yeah, he didn't even just like try, because he doesn't know Lucifer is a demon. He could have literally just put him, like, taken Lucifer out himself. I guess he just thought it was easier this way.
I thought
Or-
at first it was going to be a wire.
Arrest
not
him.
this.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to arrest him. That's your job, bro.
Like,
And he did do what you think he did.
and he has the evidence. You have the evidence that he did it.
The cigarette.
I mean, I was thinking there might be a storyline here where Dan runs a DNA test and Ella finds out that it's something completely different, and then she has her beliefs change based on that, but then she doesn't tell Dan. But I don't know. We could still go that way. There is still like the chance of him running in DNA on the cigarette butt to move forward in that way, but I don't think they're going to backtrack.
We also had Auntie May's show up.
Klinger.
Yo, she's got issues.
Does she?
She got issues. Girls got to work some things out. When she refers to the baby as ours, I mean, I'm not a mom, and trust me, I don't know what that's like, but I can only imagine having something grow inside me and having somebody who wasn't going to be the co-parent. So somebody who either it wasn't their sperm or they weren't going to be the dad or the other mom, look at me and say, our baby, piss off. Get like, oh, Linda's handling this so well, I would flip out.
She's just handling it because she knows they're not humans and they don't understand the social norms. But she has so much patience.
And not only do they not understand the social norms, but what happens if Linda flips out at Maze and says, no, you cannot be in this baby's life?
She's acting from a place of fear as opposed to...
No, I'm saying if she says that to her, what is Maze willing to do? If Linda says, you're not part of this family, Maze is going to kill her.
I don't think so.
No.
Maze has shown that she has a soft spot when it comes to them. And when Linda asks, "Are you in love with me?" a part of me thought that Maze was going to say yes.
Me too.
And also when Maze says "our baby," while both of you found it abhorrent, I thought it was one of the sweetest things ever. That Maze feels so responsible for this baby because it is her possible redemption, her way to prove to herself that she can actually be something different of a mother as opposed to Lilith, who is her mother. Mizakeen is a child of Lilith, Lilam. And so that was actually a very sweet thing to me.
Do you see Lilith appearing this season?
I don't know
think
about
they're getting
this
this
season,
set up,
but
maybe
I like
in the finale.
I would love it.
I think with Maze's character, it's interesting when you think about it because every other main character has some form of romantic interest that they've developed from being a negative development or a positive development. And Maze has just kind of been that lady who swings around and hooks up with people. You know, like she kind of had that moment with Dan, but then Dan last episode was like, I'm not doing this anymore because he decided to be a good cop, but then this episode is not again. But
are you seeing love triangle?
Not love triangles per se, but
I
like...
mean with the Dan situation that you just mentioned. With Maze, Dan, and now
if
Ella.
she tries to go after Dan as her connection, maybe.
Well, that was one of the big conversations is that Maze needs someone.
She needs somebody.
Or she needs to love herself.
It'd be interesting to get Adam.
And Maze?
Adam and Maze, because Adam has the hots for Lilith. Maze might not even know who Adam is. And like mother, like daughter, Adam might be like, ooh, look at this girl.
Okay. I could see it.
As far as Auntie Maze goes, I'm really liking this storyline.
Good.
It's strong. It's fun. It's giving purpose, and it's also setting something up with Maze.
We just don't know what.
And possibly with Maze sacrificing herself for the baby.
I mean, I thought the fight was going to happen. I thought Remiel was going to go, and then Maze broke the rules of not following Linda. But that was going to be the setup.
I thought so too. Last episode, I thought that was going to be the head, but then we get the Amenadiel and Remy actually have a fight.
Dope.
That was an actual physical fight, and it was very cool.
I mean, I thought just him having the baby was making him more powerful in general, but now it's like legitimately like, okay, no, he's more powerful.
Yes.
Like he's actually more powerful, like has angel powers kind of again.
He's also the senior angel in this situation.
There's no such thing as a senior angel though, because they were all flashed in at the same time apparently.
There are senior angels. Angels do come in hierarchy.
Are you talking about in the
show?
show?
In the show, they brought this up as well.
Okay.
There's a hierarchy of
I
angels.
liked Remy better in this episode than the previous one because I kind of like what happens when she's defeated. And she's like, all right, you win this one.
Because
like,
you beat me fair and square
Yeah,
in a fight.
you beat me. You did.
Which,
you know,
by
that's
the way,
how we
why
square
didn't
up.
she use her angel power? I was waiting to find out what it was.
Unclear.
Cool wings.
I don't know.
She just has cool
Because
wings.
maybe that's not fair and square. If he doesn't have time to stop, maybe she can't use hers because she doesn't deem that to be fair.
She gave him half the spear, so maybe she does want it to be like something fair and square. But again, she's the vanguard. I think there's way more coming if word spreads. And I want to ask you guys this, because I was thinking about this after the episode. Do you think it would have been better for the baby to be taken back to heaven?
I think, isn't it better for anybody to be in heaven?
So go kill everybody who's good.
No. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. I think that the point is Amenadiel saying this earth doesn't make you weaker; it makes you stronger. So my baby should grow up here because it will make them better.
I just think it's really interesting that God made humanity in his image, but all the angels are so against humanity. And God's the only one who had free will before humans, and the angels are jealous of that. So what if Amenadiel is developing free will? What if he's self-actualizing the only thing that angels have, aside from their powers, out of common with humans? If in that case, wouldn't he become a threat to God?
I threw it in a prediction before. I feel like Amenadiel is the prophecy, just to throw out.
Why I'm not going to say the joke I was going to say.
Bone Town.
Okay, we're done. We're done with Bone Town. We're done with Bone Town.
Not done till I say it.
What we're not done with is the prophecy. When the devil walks the earth and finds his first love, evil shall be released.
I think Kinley's back. I think Chloe's got to get Kinley back.
He's being shipped to Rome, so you think that doesn't happen?
I think before he's shipped, something happens, and Chloe realizes that there is an actual use for Father Kinley.
I just wonder when she does realize that this is the case, are we going to go back to where we started at the beginning of the season with Chloe? Or Chloe evolved from that point, and now that she's gone to see Kinley, she'll go tell Lucifer because that's what he has asked of her.
Also, they don't...
You know what I mean?
I like this. I like where we're going here.
Say that again, because
They've already had this conversation where Chloe lied to Lucifer about meeting with Kinley, and Lucifer says, "Don't lie to me." And she says, I'm sorry, you were the devil, I was confused. Now she's gone back to him again.
And heard the prophecy.
Presumably, he doesn't know she's gone. So does she do the same thing she did at the beginning of the season where she doesn't tell him and now goes about it that route? Or does she go right to Lucifer and say, I went to him, this is the prophecy, you need to stay away from Eve?
I think it's the latter. I think she tells him the prophecy. But I don't think she knows it's Eve. I think she says exactly what it is. Because, again, they've had a romantic interest. She doesn't know if she's the first
She does kind of know because Father Kinley says, you know who it is, don't you? He says that, and the look on her face gives it away. Like,
it's Eve.
I feel that it's Eve. Because Father Kinley's like, it's a mistake. I thought it was you. It's not you. Which I don't know how Father Kinley would know that part.
I think it's because he would have gotten word if something horrific had happened yet, and he knows that her and Lucifer have already gotten together. So I think that is why.
Also, it doesn't say, the prophecy isn't that like, hey, when Lucifer finds his first love, he's going to be evil and start killing everybody. It just says that
evil will be released.
Evil will be released. So what if the evil is Lilith?
See, in my theory, Amenadiel stands up for Linda, someone who he thinks is wonderful and he's in love with. And evil will be released would be the birth of this child. That's just what I think. Let's get into, is Lucifer the angel or the devil? Which one is the true nature?
Angel.
I think they are the same thing. Lucifer's always been a fallen angel.
And you think the devil.
I think I also say the same thing, except with the place of duty that God has bestowed upon him. So while I believe there is good and evil in him in the way we think of it, he does have a duty that is in hell. And one of the things that plays is the fact that Lucifer has not lost his wings, but they're not what he thought they would be.
Yeah, but they look badass.
They definitely look badass.
I mean, we kind of saw this coming. Little bit.
Oh, true.
For anybody on iTunes,
are the promo branding that they've put out there is Lucifer with devil wings, which I was assuming sometime in this season we would get him with devil wings
as opposed to feather wings.
Yeah, I think
which are pretty.
I think it is what he makes it. I think just like how we've already established that angels self-actualize, and he wasn't looking to see his wings he was looking to see his wings for an answer, but what he feared was what came out, because that's how he views himself.
Yes, but my question is, what is the difference between his view of himself when he has no wings versus his view of himself with devil wings?
Let's find out in the comments below. Let's get to some news and gossip.
Afterbuzz TV News.
The question on every single Lucifer fan's mind, is there going to be a 5th season of this show? I don't have the answer for you, but I do have some thoughts from Henderson, one of the writers, who says that they've already written the first scene. This is coming from Entertainment Weekly. He says, we did spend some time digging into what we think can be season 5. We even have the first scene of season 5, which is one of my favorite things we've ever come up with.
Oh, cannot wait.
I don't know, because we haven't finished this season yet. I don't know what that means, but imagine already not knowing you're getting picked up, but writing the first scene of the next season. That sets the tone of the entire season. I have no idea what that means, but I know it means I want a next season.
I think it's Chloe going to hell to get Lucifer back.
Why? Where's Lucifer?
I don't know. I just feel like we have to go to hell at some point. And I feel like
So you think by
Aren't
the
they
end of
doing
this
that
season?
on Sabrina?
I don't watch Sabrina, so I don't know.
Do you think by the end of this season, Lucifer's going to be in hell then?
Yeah, I think so. I think he gets sent back in
I
some
kind of
way.
am getting that sense too, because he's got the devil wings, all the Eve stuff going on, and I do think that she's been sent there for more of a reason, and he has to explore, and we need to figure out what to do with Maze. He probably takes her with him or something. I'm getting that sense too.
And
I
think Chloe's the only person who can resist the power of hell. That's kind of what we've seen from her with Lucifer.
This news and gossip has turned into predictions, so let's get into that.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yeah, I think Chloe goes to hell. I think that's the only place. I think that would be just a really cool way to start the next season. Plus,
Go to hell, Chloe.
after they've proven themselves with this season, the special effects budget is definitely going to be big enough to afford it.
Does Eve go with them?
I think Eve's out of the picture by the end of the season.
What do you think, Tara?
I think we have just begun to understand the threat that is Eve.
Yeah.
And we get a lot more Eve. And I think on the opposite end, I think we actually go to heaven in the first scene of next episode of next season.
I like that. I think that Dan and Ella at first are going to think that this is a fake little thing and they just were leaning on each other. But I do think by the end of the series, Dan and Ella will end up together.
Oh, so endgame prediction.
Endgame prediction.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think, and I also think Ella's angel comes back. I think Ella's
I've been
angel
waiting
comes
for
back.
her.
I've been waiting as well. We will find out all together. Until then, where can people find you if you want to be found? Stephen Lemieux.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux.
I wanted to know about hell. Okay, you can
I
find
thought
me.
we cut it.
Okay, you can find me at Roxy Striar. There's only 9 circles. There's 10 episodes, so we'll cut it for this one.
9 circles. Yeah, we're going to get one. We
Also,
have
this one
3
felt
more
like
left.
greed. He literally says, like, your greed did this to you. The 7 circles violence.
We'll talk about it next
We'll
time.
talk about it next time.
We'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
And I am Tehran, literally at I am Tehran all across the board. Find me also hosting a slew of other AfterBuzz after shows as we get into all of your favorite TV programs, because guess what? They are mine as well. But for now, right now, Netflix's Lucifer Season 4 is my favorite TV show. You can find us talking about more Netflix's Lucifer next same time, same channel. See you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.